I am going to speak on Holy Mother. The story of Holy Mother, or the life of a story, has been written beautifully by many authors. And so I will not recount her life story. I will first give you my own experiences that I had with her. I had the blessed fortune to meet her many times in my life. And also, I shall relate to you what I have heard directly from the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. And you will find how they looked upon her, and also some stories that I've heard from her attendant, a brother disciple of mine. Let me first tell you my own experiences with her. At Bishnupur, that is our hometown, that is my hometown at the time, she had no devotee at that time. So she was staying in an inn on the porch. And two friends, were going out for a walk, and I was only then 14 or 15 years old, and there was Radhu, her niece, was standing holding the holding one of the pillars. And of course, as young boys, she was only 12 and 13, as young boys, our eyes fell on her first. Well, this is normal. Then we saw a holy man seated, and around him surrounded by him, there were many women seated there. So as both of us were going for a walk, we criticized this holy man. Look at the holy man surrounded by women. And as a result, what happened to me, see. Then we came back from our walk. It was a little dark, and this young man was to go in one direction to his own home, and I was to go in another direction to my home. But something drew me back. So instead of going towards my home, I came back. And I bowed down to this holy man, and he said, "Will you see Holy Mother?" I got excited because I read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna at that time. You see, as a young boy, I was an atheist. And it is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna that attracted me. But again, as I read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Naren and Rakhal, these two names attracted me. Of course, Naren was not living, so I had Rakhal in my mind. Anyway, as I bowed down, to this holy man. He said, "Will you see Holy Mother?" I said, "Holy Mother, you mean Paramahansa's wife?" "Yes." Then she was right there. And so I touched her feet, I mean her toes. You see, we do that with our fingers. And she kissed me like our mother's kiss. Take the fingers in our fingers here on the chin, and then she puts it on her lips. And then she said, "Son, haven't I seen you before?" I said, "No, Mother, I have not seen you." But of course, mothers recognize their children, but children, unfortunately, do not recognize the mother, who is the mother of the universe. While she would be coming to Calcutta, not that I had great devotion for her, but I used to go, once a week they would allow men to come and touch the toes of her touch her toes. And she would remain veiled. And so I used to go and touch the toes. And I used to go because I'd get a wonderful sensation, like an electric shock every time I touched. And then later I learned that way she transmitted spiritual power. But I didn't know, but just for that sensation, because afterwards I'd feel a soothing influence in my whole body. So just for that I used to go once a week. And she used to come and live in Calcutta for 6 months as a general rule, and then go back to Jairambati for 6 months. One time, another friend of mine and I, this friend of mine became also a Swami of our order. But unfortunately, he died earlier. If he had lived today, I am sure he would have been the president of our order. But anyway, I used to call him Paresh. Paresh and I together came to Bishnupur. In our home we stayed, and then we hired a bullock cart. And we traveled, of course, sleeping on the bullock cart all night. And then in the morning, or it was rather late that we arrived. And first we went to Kualpada. That's where Holy Mother used to come and stay occasionally. And in Kualpada is the Dhobi house. There is a picture of Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna, and we are told that that is the picture that Holy Mother herself worshipped. You see, Sri Ramakrishna himself worshipped his own picture and said, someday this will be worshipped everywhere, in every home in the world. And at one time in my life, I dreamt. I always carried a picture of Holy Mother. I had a friend in the Udbodhan office at that time who gave me that picture. Generally, they did not sell at that time. And I carried that picture all my life. And she told in a vision that I see many in America placing my picture on the left of Thakur, Master. And I think I was the first one who did that. And that is the picture still there. Oh yes, as we went to our house, we were late to arrive. And she told her attendant, Rash Bihari, I think his name was, I forgot his name, Swami name. I used to call him Rash Bihari Dada. You know, he recorded his teachings with the life of Holy Mother. Those were recorded by him. And from him we learned that Holy Mother told him that two of Rakal's sons are coming. Keep some food, save some food for them. We did not write to her anything, nor there was any telephone, but she knew. And then, like a mother, she served us food on leaf plates. And she sat by us and asked us if we like this food, just as our mother does. If we like this, then should give more. So that way she fed us. And I remember still now that I have never eaten such food in my life. It was like nectar. I still remember that. And then after finishing, we were going to fold the leaves to throw them out. And then mother said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, we can't leave these leaf plates here. We ate in those." Then she said, "But what would you have done if your mother had been present?" So we left them there. While we were there, she initiated one young man, and in this connection, let me point out that when we left her, she stood by the door and kissed us. And as far as she could see, she kept on looking at us. This was the custom that she had. with everybody that used to go to her. And then, while we were there, a young man was initiated. And as we came back, we saw that he was very sick and he was dying. And at the moment of death, he sat straight and chanted the mantra that Holy Mother gave to her. So it was a wonderful death from that standpoint. Then again, while we were students in Calcutta, I thought I would not be speaking for a long time, but time goes away. While we were students in Calcutta, they gave word to us that Mother will be coming to Belur Math and they need volunteers. So many of our college boys went and we stood in rows at the Belur Math. It's not the present big monastery, but we had very little room there, not a large place. And then Holy Mother was carried in palanquin up to the gate, and then they had a chair prepared for her, and 4 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, Maharaj Swami Brahmananda, Swami Sarada Devi, Swami Prabhavananda, and Swami Shivananda, they carried her. And then Maharaj gave order that nobody should bow down before before Mother at that time. But we saw Khoka Maharaj, Swami Shubodhananda, he just rolled on the ground. And then Maharaj said, "Who is that? Who is that?" Then of course Khoka Maharaj in the meantime disappeared. And so she was carried by these 4 Swamis upstairs to the shrine room, and of course I believe she was worshipped at that time by these disciples. One thing I know, that while she was living, she was worshipped by hundreds and thousands of people as a living goddess. Here I remember a funny story. There was a Brahmin who came to her and began ritualistic worship before her. And it was a hot day, and Holy Mother was just perspiring and with her veil all covered up. And then Golapma, she saw him and dragged him out and said to him, "Do you think it's a clay image?" Then another very interesting story I know. I don't know if these are published at all. I have no idea. In the Udbodhan office, while Holy Mother was there, you see, there was a place downstairs. That was the Udbodhan office. And upstairs was the place for Holy Mother. There was a bedstead. And then on the other side of the bedstead, there was a shrine. And she stayed in the shrine during that time. And Uh, so as I said, oh yes, there is this story I was going to tell, I forgot. There was one holy man who came. He did not belong to our order, but he came and went and prostrated before Holy Mother. And then he came and sat at the Udbodhana office downstairs. And Mother sent 3 fruits to this holy man. But he was keeping silent. And they said, go away now, go away now. He would not listen to anybody. He sat straight there. He would not move. Then about an hour later, Holy Mother sent another fruit. And as he received that fruit, he began to dance in joy, saying, at long last, Mother gave me liberation. You see, three fruits, dharma, artha, kam. Dharma, merit. Artha, fortune. Kama, what you desire you get. But moksha is liberation. So, when Mother gave him 3 fruits, he held them but would not move until she sent another fruit. While living on earth, I saw him only once more when I became a monk, and 3 of us were going to Mayabati. And Maharaj said to us, go and take the blessings of Holy Mother. So we went, and that time she did not have any veil. And she offered us, she kissed of course, as usual, and then she offered us one flower to each one. I don't know what the others did, but when the flower dried up, I threw away. Now, I'll tell you how Swamiji, Maharaj, and Swami Yogananda, who was her attendant, how they would touch her feet. Swamiji would dip himself in the Ganges 6-7 times. He thought he was not pure enough to touch her feet. But you see, we didn't know. We went under any condition. And then only he would go and touch her feet. And Maharaj would go and just like a little boy has done something wrong and afraid to approach Mother. And so he would compose himself first. Hello Radhi, how are you? And then would go and bow down to Maharaj and would try to come away. But Mother would say, Rakal, sit down. And Swami Yogananda was her attendant. He would not even touch her feet. Where she would stand, there she would take the dust after she left. Of course, all this happened after Thakur passed away. And perhaps you know this story, how when he passed away, Mother wept, saying, "Oh Mother, why did you leave me alone?" And then she was going to take the dress of a widow. what relationship they had. She called him mother and he called her mother. And so she, because she had to live in a village, she used white cloth, but with a red border. You see, they are not allowed to use red